Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've all had a great week. I am really hoarse today. It's been
Why the long face?
I don't know.
Is your horse?
Nay, I couldn't tell you. Too much walking around in my hometown saying, hey, I guess that'll do it. Yeah, no,
We're trying.
We're horribly trying. Yeah. It's
Letting the
bad.
coffee kick in.
Yeah, I've only had a couple sips of that, so it's going to be a minute. But anyway, yeah, it's been a week of getting ready. My other half is not home. She's with Hezekiah at the NIH, and they're in the thick of all the studies and blood work and all kinds of.
All right. Not an emergency. Just
no. This was
standard.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was
Gotcha.
was the scheduled week of study out there at the NIH, the National Institute of Health. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so she's there with him. They've been there since Sunday. And Ruby and I took a small little road trip up to my mom and dad's house for a couple of days.
Nice.
Yeah, so we hadn't seen them since they left rehab down here for her neck. She's doing really well, so things are good there. But my dad's going back to work on Monday, and so he drives a semi truck. And I wanted to make sure that if there were any like projects that needed to get done before he left, that we could get those taken care of. So showed up, and sure enough, you know how like you're like, yeah, we'll work on this. It'll be easy. It's only this thing, I think. And then you get into it and you're like, dear Lord in heaven, this actually is way more than what it was going to be. Well, that's what happened. A sogging floor underneath the main bathroom toilet at my mom and dad's house went from my dad going, it's just a leak. We just need a new wax seal for it, because the linoleum wasn't showing it to be sagging as much until we took the toilet off and then saw that there was an indention. And then I took a utility knife and I cut that away, and I put my hand through the floor.
Yeah.
It
needed a wax ring about a year ago.
I would say more than a year
more
ago.
than a year, several years ago.
Several years ago. That needed to be taken care of several years ago. And I think my brother, who worked on the remodel for the bathroom to make it a little bit bigger for mom before she got home, probably saw that and said, I'm not messing with that.
Yeah.
My dad and I knocked it out in 4 hours. So we got her done.
Because when you said it's sagging, I'm like, okay, so are we going floor joist? I mean, is that where we're at? Because that is quite, it's often, it does get into the subfloor, it gets into the flooring, then it gets into the joists, and then you're like, okay. And your best bet in that, and like the best thing that could happen is you could sister up another joist on it and we're fine. But that's rarely the case. It's usually, okay, this is a contractor now. We're going to find a contractor, and we don't have a bathroom for 6 months.
I'm just glad that it wasn't the joist. It was the subfloor.
Yeah, good stuff.
It was easy. Like, actually, it was really funny. We hillbilly fixed this thing, man. I'll tell you, because we had an old. It's not quite plywood. I don't remember what it was exactly, but basically, my sister's door is not like a typical door that you have. It was literally a piece of wood that they turned into a door. But it's structurally sound enough, and also too is painted, which is also another helpful thing for if water is an issue. Again, that we basically cut that out and we put that underneath the PVC flange for the toilet,
Mhm.
and gave it the structure it needed, and was able to put the linoleum that I cut back over the top of it. So unless you look at it really closely, you can't tell. So
Mhm.
it'll hold up for the time being until my parents decide to remodel the rest of the bathroom, because they do probably need to get a different shower unit for my mom. But yeah, so that was yesterday's adventure,
Adventure.
along with electric hand sander to all of the splinters where screws went into the wood for the handicap ramp for my parent, or for my mom as well.
Mhm.
Because why would you put one together and not do the finishing touches of that as a contractor? But I came walking up as soon as I got there on a Sunday. I came walking up and I saw these things. I'm like, oh, that's, I don't want that in my hand or in my mom's hand or anybody that comes and visits hand.
Mhm.
So I spent like an hour hitting all those, and other than that, like it was a good visit.
Cool.
Nothing too crazy.
Ruby
Uh,
had fun, I
Ruby had a
assume.
good time. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was hanging out with grandma and playing on the computer and watching shows and just having a good time. So can't complain there. And yeah, I just was helping out where need be and hanging out and talking, having a good time. And then we went to the 4-H fair yesterday before we left, so that was
Oh,
cool.
cool. Yeah.
So she'd never been to the 4-H festival. We've never been up there when it happens because there's always something going on, you know, midsummer.
Mhm.
But that was a lot of fun because she was just like, "Oh my gosh," looking around at everything, and
Yeah.
you know, it was a good time. My Probably the thing that was cool for me. So you never know who you're gonna run into when you go to those, especially when you go back home.
Mhm.
And I was really hoping I didn't run into any ex girlfriends, which I didn't, thank goodness.
That was my
Uh,
first thought. Is what was her
yep,
name?
yep, no, no exes. They're all in Texas. No, I'm just kidding. um, I ran into an old buddy who I haven't seen in easily like 20 some years, but he, other than the fact that, you know, he's a little bit older, he looks very much similar. And so it was cool catching up with him and talking with him. And it's so wild because, like, you know, my kids are so much younger. And he's got a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old, which 13-year-old, that's fine. Like, he's close to Hezekiah's age. But I was like, oh my gosh, you have a 19-year-old? Okay, that's wild.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've got people in my class that are grandparents already.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, yeah.
but this, but at the same time, too, I think about it and it's like, you know, at this time, when, you know, 20 some years ago, my parents would have been my age, you know, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. So,
Right.
but so that was cool getting to run into him and talk with him for a little bit. And then I ran into my seventh grade English teacher,
Okay. Was
and
positive or negative? What's
it's
the
positive.
okay? A good one. Okay. All right.
Wonderful woman, super sweet. And it was really cool just getting a chance to talk to her for a few
Yeah.
minutes. And
Yeah.
of course, like, it's been so long, like she had no idea who I was until I
Right.
introduced myself.
Right.
But at the same
And
time,
really,
too,
the
yeah,
fact that she remembered you at all, even after you introduced yourself, is good because that's a long time. And you know, you don't. I don't know about for you, but I think well, my teacher, that was my teacher. That was my teacher and like 15 at least other kids every year for the last
yeah,
30 years or whatever. Yeah. So that the fact that she remembers you is very cool.
yeah. So
Um,
it was a lot of fun getting to catch up with her and chat with her for a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun it was a fun deal. I mean, like, we're talking like this is very much like the quintessential 4-H fair too. Like, we showed up and they were getting ready to have a toy tractor pull for the kids with like the pedal tractors, and
oh, yeah.
that was pretty fun to watch and just have good food.
Mhm.
Full on like chicken leg meal that was cooked, you know, right back behind the
Fried
trailer
chicken.
on a, yeah, oh gosh, yeah, so good. Yeah. That is my go-to meal. I don't get that very often. So whenever I'm back home or whatever, my mom will fix fried chicken at home when I come home from time to time. And so,
Hmm.
but yeah, so that was what we've been up to for a while. And
You know,
it was a good road trip.
it's interesting because my kids ask me to make fried chicken a lot. Not a lot, but that fairly often, and I don't make it that often, and I make it completely different now than I used to. And Fabian was asking me, you used to make it, it was different. What'd you do it? Because he's kind of interested in cooking and he kind of wants to learn. And I'm like, so you mean back at the house when we were doing it? And I'm like, well, it was just pan fried. I mean, I didn't bread it or anything. I just kind of put a little bit, but I didn't really do all I do with this one at all. It was a completely different process, and it was rabbit. And he goes, what? I'm like, yeah, we had chickens for eggs. We didn't eat our chickens unless we ate a couple of them at some point. I
After they
said,
stop laying eggs, that's when
yeah,
you eat
yeah.
them.
You find a point where you should go and you're a stew pot now. That's cool. But I said, yeah, that was all rabbit. And he was like, what? I know. I mean, I know you told me we had rabbits and I remember having rabbits and you told me we ate them, but I'm like, yeah, there's really no difference when you get down to it.
No,
The biggest thing about rabbit is there's almost zero fat on it. You just have to be ready for that difference. You have to change. Like you can't, like you can fry a burger because it's got its own fat.
right.
You just plop it on a hot thing, and but you put a piece of rabbit, it's just going to burn. You can't treat it the same way. I said, but other than that, but I don't cook it that way because we don't have that meat. And he was just, you just see the shock in his face, and he was like, I'm like, I know, like your whole childhood is a lie now. I get it. I feel you, but it's really not. This is just, and anyway, and I said, you do like the new way I make fried chicken way better. And he's like, oh, yeah, it is really good. I'm like, yeah, so you're not missing anything. It's nostalgia, it's a memory, but seriously, it's really not. You're not. You don't need anything from that stuff. So,
That's hilarious.
yeah, yeah.
That is so funny. I
But
mean,
and they loved it.
yeah.
I mean, it was delicious. I mean, the rabbit's good.
Oh yeah, rabbit's
It's
delicious.
just there's no there's no difference to me. I mean, just how you cook it, and that's it.
To me, if you want to put three of them together that all have very similar tastes, rabbit and squirrel are very similar to chicken. So,
Yeah,
and yes, I have had squirrel
I could say that.
before. It's
I could say that.
delicious. It's just
Well,
as lean. It's just as lean as rabbit too, if not even more. There's no
well,
fat on those things.
I mean, I get it. I've had squirrel. I didn't have chicken and dumplings until I was in my mid 20s. I think my first wife's mom made it, but I had dove and dumplings about a
Yep.
hundred times before that, and even sometimes having to pick the bird shot out of it sometimes. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, of course you eat that. Why wouldn't you eat that? It's fine, but it's hilarious too because like I have not served anything like that. I haven't done any hunting or anything, any trapping, anything like that for my kids. I mean, we took what we had, on growing in the yard, basically the rabbits and chickens, and that was it. And
Ca-
I think
Calling
of
Paul Gordon. Calling Paul Gordon.
right,
Someone needs to get out
just
into the
ship
hunting
it,
field.
ship me half what you have, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not interested in. I don't mind hunting. I would have fun hunting. It's good. It's I'm all for it. I'm all for firearms, especially when it comes to like home defense and farm defense. I mean, living where we were before, I had to have a gun. I had to have a shotgun
Yeah.
specifically, but there was no way because we had wild dogs coming in the yard killing our chickens. And those dogs really don't know the difference between a chicken and a child. So I wasn't playing. It's just I'm not going to take that chance. But for the most part now, I just don't want to do it. It's cold. It's wet. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it'd be here actually, but I'm assuming it's going to be cold and wet and uncomfortable. And I'm like, yeah, I'll buy a steak. I'll buy some ground beef. I'm fine. I don't need to go out there and kill my own. I'm good.
Yeah.
Big issue is my kids don't know how to do it, and that's okay. They'll they'll hopefully never need it. Like we go into an apocalypse and like, Dad, we're starving because we can't kill our own food. Sucks
My
for you.
Corey, I can't even talk. Ruby, when we were walking through one of the, I think it was the goat pen, she was like, "Oh man," she's like, "You can have a goat for a pet." I'm like, "These are not their pets." Like these are monetary
Mhm.
value for their
Mhm.
families, and was explaining to her like all the different things that go on with it. And I was actually very impressed with her. She was not like, oh, like that's appalling, or like that kind of thing. Like she's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
it's a farm animal. That makes total sense.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I've actually taught you without teaching you over time, like that farms have animals that are for more than
Y-
just food,
You
or meant
should
for more than just petting.
always know where your food comes from. You should always recognize, in my opinion, and like even praying before a meal. We don't really have family meals anymore because there's just people going everywhere. But praying before a meal, a lot of times was me just telling the kids, look, you need to understand this is what this animal was. And
Yeah.
this animal died so that we can live. And you need to be
Yep.
aware of that. You need to understand because the separation, in my opinion, from it, I think it's just, it has negative impact on you. I think I personally, anecdotal evidence, I got no proof of this whatsoever. It's probably just my faith, for lack of a better word, saying this, but I feel like you need to know that. And
Hmm.
growing up, you need to understand that food doesn't come from a store. You know,
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
a place
I
for it. Mike, we were very fortunate to have had that little hobby farm, and all the kids understand life and death and where your food comes from. It's been, I think, very beneficial.
yeah, totally agree. I have great respect too for hunters and fishermen and things like that actually like, take the time to like I've seen where like they'll be like they thank the animal for
Yeah.
its meat, thank their
Mhm.
like God or whatever, like, for
Yeah. Just
having
that
the ability to get
gratitude.
having that, yeah, just showing gratitude. Like I have a great respect for folks that do that versus people who are just like, I'm just going out here and I'm not even like, I'm not giving it a second thought. It's like, come on, like
Hmm.
you realize where all this is coming from, like that kind
Right.
of deal.
Right.
And
Just to be aware, you're part of a life cycle. You're part of an ecosystem.
yeah,
You're part of a whole world that granted, we're like apex predator in almost every environment on the earth now, but that still means, okay, we may be at the top of the chain, but I need to recognize that everything below me is what allows me to live, you know?
right. Yep.
So yeah.
Definitely. That's
Now that
yeah.
went off on a little interesting
Yeah, we
rabbit trail.
definitely
Good job. I don't know we're here now. So anyway, back to the day.
yeah, right back to the day. Oh, what are we doing now?
I spent my
Um,
day yesterday driving down to pick up a new Suburban,
I saw
or
that.
new to us
Yeah.
Suburban. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's 10
it's
years
got,
old. It's got over 200,000 miles on it, but
but then
holy
you say,
crap.
but then you say that it only has 50,000
The
on the
engine.
engine.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
impressive. Because I mean,
Yeah.
like bodies can last forever. Engines are the scary thing. So
Hmm. Right. And and I think I don't have the numbers in my head, but I think it's less than 50,000, but I know it's a number that's perfectly reasonable for a 10-year-old car with 200,000 miles on it. And I'm telling you, man, I thought my old Suburban was just maxed out, bells and whistles. I don't know what to do. I get in this thing and it's almost exactly the same setup. There's a couple little differences,
you said it's only a
but
year
it's got
different, right?
2 years, yeah. two
Okay.
years, 2 years older. Yeah. And but it's got the heated steering wheel. And I went, what? Cool. All right. Cause I know that I want that now that I'm in Wisconsin. I'm like, yes,
Welcome to
yes,
the
that would be
club.
beneficial.
Yes, those
Right.
are
Yeah.
amazing.
And the back seat, the middle row is heated.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'm in the back. I'm like trying to figure out because there's in the back, there's like a little, like a compartment. You lift up the back of it and it's got trays where you can put all your tools and like your jumper cables and all that stuff. Right. And I'm like, okay, it's got that cool. And there's 4 buttons on the sidewall inside. And I'm like, what's that? And it's got automatic seats. You push the button and it goes, and the seat drops down. And
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
what?
Okay.
And then it comes back up. And I'm like, what?
I'm so glad
Okay.
you learned how to use the three
Just,
seashells. That's awesome.
yes, exactly. And I'm like, and every time, and it's got like the little infotainment screen, which I've never had one of those in a car. I mean, it's pretty common, I think. But I'm like, wait, is that a push the button and it drops down? I'm like, oh my God. Okay, cool, cool.
Now you get to be
But,
one of those dads that drives around while there's SpongeBob SquarePants playing in the background.
or whatever. I don't care as long as they shut up. No. Yeah. But I'm like, this is amazing. because I remember the number of times in the past where I thought, wow, if I could just put a movie on for these kids. We're driving to Minnesota from Georgia. If I could
Does
have
it
a
have
movie, you know,
does it have headphone jacks that they can plug into and listen to it so that it's not
actually
running?
plugins, yes, but not Bluetooth. But yeah,
No, I
plugins.
know. So I mean, yeah, plugins. Yeah, that's what I'm
Hmm.
saying. Like plugins are that's the other great thing
As long
usually.
as they have headphones, I don't want to hear them.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm
I
saying.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I don't need to hear Bluey for 8 hours. Like,
I might do Bluey for an hour or two. I think I'd be all right with that. But yeah, not 8 hours straight. And my kids are all older now too, so they really don't have those same
no, yeah, no, I know.
issues. It works out
you,
way better now.
you might
You
get
know,
away with a really good movie that you like can enjoy listening to while things are
yeah,
going on.
yeah. Make Marnie drive so I can watch,
Yeah.
Die Hard or whatever. No, you got to watch. The kids and I are gonna watch Die
Which
Hard.
one of you kids wants to navigate? You can go up in the front, hang out with mom. I'm going to be back
That's
here
right.
lounging out watching the
I'm gonna
movie.
watch, and I got a pillow, and
Who brought the popcorn?
right, and I would too. I would totally use that. But it's the coolest thing that I think right now that I'm considering is that it's got a sunroof, and I don't think I've ever had a car or vehicle with a sunroof. And I know I've driven in, ridden in one or whatever, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, so it's a nice, cool summer night here, full moon. I'm gonna ride around with my girl, with my wife in the car with the sunroof open
There
and
you
just
go.
enjoy it, and just feel the air and hopefully no mosquitoes fly in, but it's just so cool. And I'm ecstatic. I really am because I can't explain how first world problems difficult it is to go from having your own vehicle to not having a car and still having all the things that you have to do.
Yep.
Groceries, kids, and the good thing is, I guess, that I have a concussion, so I kind of canceled everything. And
Yeah.
like,
Where
y'all
are
need to
things at
figure
for
that
you on
out.
that?
So
Where are things at for
I'm
you on that?
better. I'm better. Can't, I still get dizzy. I still have a headache, but it's just slowly getting better. And I talked to my doctor, I actually talked to the nurse last night, and yesterday was 2 weeks. So, and she said, yeah, 2 to 3 weeks. And we know each other, pretty well. And she goes, and honestly, Danny, for you, probably going to be 3. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'm not like you got a bad
What are you trying to
constitution.
say here,
And
lady?
and she says, you remember you're older than me, right? And I'm like, hey, hey, okay,
She's
okay.
throwing
Look,
down, man.
shots fired, shots
No
fired.
kidding.
But I am like maybe 3 months older than her. We figured it out at some point because we were kind of trying to gauge each other and who was oldest. And I'm like, all right, okay, fine. But realistically, it's good. I can't like move around real fast. Like when the show first started, I'm very excited and happy to be here. Finally, my coffee's kicking in, and I do a little
Hmm.
dance and shake my head too much, and I almost fall over. I have to hold on to the desk and go, okay, all right, stop that. You know,
Like a
and
bobblehead with a bad spring.
right, it's just hanging there, just hanging. But realistically, it's fine. I'm still sore. I still have the ligament issue. That's just going to take time, to heal, but that's normal.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, I hate to say it like this, but this was a win across the board for us. We got a much nicer vehicle, and it's where we were going to have to spend the next year paying off our old vehicle. We've got this one now is paid off probably. I mean, we've got maybe one payment, I think, on it to make.
Nice. There you go.
Because the insurance gave us a check that was 10,000 or a little over 10,000, 10,500 or whatever, and the truck is 12. So, okay, we got that little thing, and we're not making $1,000 payments, but there was a little bit of leeway in there. So Monty was like, "Yeah, we got one more car payment on that one." I'm like, "What?" And we're done. And we were planning.
Does that mean you'll own both your cars then? You'll have the Prius and that?
Prius is paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome,
so
man.
we're good. Yeah, yeah. She's looking at a Subaru Outback Wilderness, I think it's called. They've got a special
Oh, is that
slightly.
the new one? Wait,
it's just
that's the
they've
just
been
released
out for a
that?
couple years. They've been
Okay.
out for a few years, but yeah, they do have new one. But it's got a slightly higher clearance, and there's better gearing for it and stuff like that. And it just looks tougher.
Mhm.
And that's what Marty
Yeah.
wants. She
It's like a
wants
crossover
a
type of
little
deal.
chunky thing. I could take it out and I'm like, yeah, not really, but okay, sure. Yeah, it's you can take it places.
I'm gonna go
Places
get
the
some knobby
Prius
tires
can't
for it.
go. That's the thing is
Oh
the
yeah.
Prius can't do snow.
The,
Any
the
amount
Prius
of
is a
snow. I'm like,
slot track racer
it
versus
yes, and it needs to stay in its lane. Absolutely. Like, oh, it's snowing. Yeah, we're not taking the Prius. No, we're not because I've done that. I've driven home and and it was
Now, I will
blizzards
say
and
I do have an argument to that with the Prius
sure.
because when I was driving for Uber, I would go out when the weather was awful because of the front wheel drive and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I would make bank most times
Oh, sure.
because I could get around the area. I mean, and there's lots of hills here, but I could still get around much better than most of the people driving. I
Mhm.
have part of that had to do with the fact that like I understood how to drive in the snow compared to a lot of people here, but that's a whole other side of it. But yeah, I mean, like I only had one time where I had an issue with getting up a hill with the
Mhm.
Prius, but
It's
I
great
get
for
it. But I
most
get
of
it.
it. The torque is great. I mean, and having the electric motor really does. I mean, the hybrid, but you know what I mean. It does
Yeah,
have better torque, and it's really good for stuff. And I love it, but it doesn't have the clearance. And if they haven't
true,
paved the
true.
roads, haven't not paved the, they haven't plowed the
Plowed.
roads,
Yeah,
you're in trouble. And they don't plow our road until like our neighborhood until last. We're out on the outskirts, and they're like,
that
"We'll
makes
we'll
sense
get you
then.
when we get you." So that part of it is where we run into an issue.
Okay,
But like
that
you get
makes
on
sense.
the
Yeah,
out in the like even in our little downtown, for lack of a better words, little tiny downtown we've got, they'll
Stevens
plow it
Point
and you're
downtown.
good. Yep, yep. Go downtown. That's 7 minutes that way, and you can't even see the lights from here because it's just there's nothing going. They roll the sidewalks up at 8. Come on, but yeah, but it's a great car, and I do love it, and it can do like you said, but it's got to be plowed. And that's
Yeah,
where we run into the issue with it. So she wants something, and I want her to have something with better clearance. If we put bigger wheels on that thing and gave it another 2 inches height, I might be fine with it, but it would look stupid. And I don't want to do that to a
come on,
Prius.
man. Cars with lifts. What are you talking about? That's awesome.
Just get some big old ag tires, get some agriculture tires, and like roll over other people's Prius. Yeah.
Be like at my
Nah, I'm not
parents'
doing
house
that.
where when I hear car or trucks coming by that are all lifted, it's all
Right.
as they come by. It's like that's not the engine, that's the tires.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah. But
goodness. Well,
it's
that's awesome, man.
a
I'm
good
glad to hear
vehicle.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
glad to
drove
hear
it
that
up
you
and
got a new vehicle that's very much got fun little bells and whistles that your other
yeah,
one didn't.
it's amazing. And like I told the guy that I said, look, the one that I had, that's the nicest vehicle I've ever owned.
Yeah.
I've never had a vehicle with all this stuff. I mean, even power windows is still kind of an upgrade for me. I'm loving everything that this has got. And I don't know that I mean, it was my favorite vehicle because it was just so much nicer than anything I really have ever had. And he's just nodding along and everything. And he's like, I think you'll like this one. I think you'll like driving. And he's very Midwestern and not very exuberant about anything. And I got him to laugh only once.
Mm,
But I get in it. I'm driving down the road and I'm like, oh, wow, this has everything and then some. This is more than
nice.
I had. Oh, crap. And it had a Merle Haggard CD in the
Yeah,
player.
you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, he forgot it. I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to keep somebody's CD. That's not cool, because obviously he was listening to it. So I'm going
Well,
to
did
ship
you
it back to
wait?
him.
Was it at
Mail
a
it back to him.
dealership or was this?
No, just a person
Oh,
individually. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I don't want to take somebody's music. I just feel like I don't know. It just didn't feel right, man. And I know he didn't mean it. He didn't intentionally give me his Merle Haggard CD because I'm pretty sure he'd have told me or he'd have
I mean,
charged me
maybe he's
one.
just wanting to be like, "Hey, man, like this is my cruising music.
Right?
Just
I
wanted to
thought you'd enjoy it.
pass it down. You'd enjoy it,
I
yeah."
think it's Merle Haggard's. I think it's like 16 greatest hits. I think it's a weird number on it. It's not like,
Okay.
greatest hits, period. It's like a specific number of greatest hits. So I don't know. But the funniest thing, all right, so we test drove it, I don't know, Friday. I think, yeah, we test drove it Friday, right? And we told them, okay, we're going to come back as soon as we get the money all transferred from insurance and all that. So we have it, and then we'll give you a cashier's check, and we're all good. And so we had to wait till Tuesday. And I'm driving it home, and every time I stop at a stop sign or something, I hear something sliding in the back, and it's sliding, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on?" So
And what
finally,
day? But what day is that though? You said
Tuesday.
Friday,
Friday we
Tuesday.
went out and test drove it. Tuesday I come back, I'm driving it home. And
Okay,
there's something sliding, something sliding. So I'm like, maybe something back there. Who knows? It could be he put I don't know, a repair kit or something. No,
maybe it
no
was a
idea.
CD case for the Merle Haggard CD.
Right. Yeah, there we go. So I get out. As soon as we get back to the house, I get out. I open up the back door, and my wife's keys to her Prius fall out. And I went, "What?" And I showed it to Fabian because he drove down there with me and drove the Prius back up here. And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Oh my God, Mom's been missing those. Where were they?" I'm like, "In the Suburban that weren't for sure going to buy. Come on. Like, how do you do that?" And I'm like, I walked up to her. I'm like, she's like, "Oh, you found my keys. Where were they?" I'm like, "In the Suburban."
In
She's
another
like, "What?"
man's vehicle.
Right.
You
In
got some
another
explaining
man's
to do.
car.
Were you at a
Woman.
Coldplay concert recently? What's going on?
Hey, wait, she is in HR too.
Oh,
Yeah, with some CEO.
you got some explaining
I
to
got
do,
some
Lucy.
explaining to do. That's right. That's right, Lucy. God. Wow.
We're just hitting them
Referencing
all
I
today.
Love Lucy,
Man,
man. That's just back there. Yeah.
yeah.
Back there. But
All right,
it was hilarious. And I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what this doesn't surprise me. You're one of the smartest people I know, but you never put anything back where it goes. You never close the door. You never turn off the light. This is just a world you don't live in.
Yep.
And wow, you lost your keys
That
on a
reminds me.
test drive.
So speaking of that kind of thing, so I was at my parents' house and I'm walking around and I'm turning lights off as like they're on throughout the house, and my dad notices it, and he's like, "Oh," he's like, "You finally figured out how to turn off the lights?" Like, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, as a kid, like you just leave lights on all the time, and I, come up behind you, and I'm like, "Dude, I was like, that's what I do at my house. Like I go around everybody." He goes, "Yes." He goes, "That's exactly the transition that's made
That's
right
it.
there."
That's right. You deserve it.
It's like, okay, I just got the nod from my dad on that one. All right, that's hilarious.
And Marnie's mom has told me she's looked because I am so sorry. I have tried her whole life. Her dad's the same way. They just never do it. And I don't know, Danny. I don't know. And I'm like, Kathy, I don't blame you. I really don't. It's obviously some genetic defect in your husband's side of the family, and he gave it to your kid because I can't remember who it was, but somebody put something on the Facebook page for the National Home Dad Network today, and it's a picture of his vacuum hose. It's in-house vacuum, and it's laying in the middle of the hallway. I don't remember who it was. I thought it was Tim, but whoever it was, and it's lying there and it's blocking the hallway or whatever. And he said, pro tip, basically, leave it out so that even if they get mad and complain that it's sitting there, at least they recognize that you did some vacuuming, you did the work, right? So some recognition there. And I'm like, that's great. That is a good idea, except nobody in my house would care. They would just step over it. They would just walk right past it and just figure, I don't know. This is the way the floor is now. And it would just, I'm like, this would just backfire on me so bad because I'm the one that hates things all over the floor. So,
yeah, I don't know about having a vacuum hose just sitting out. That would drive me nuts.
yeah. But at least you would get recognition for cleaning. That's something.
I guess. The other thing, too, is that, I mean, that was a whole house vacuum system. So,
yeah.
That's the other part to it.
Very cool. I don't think I'll ever be there, but who knows?
Well, speaking of posts that are in that group, I did see where Mick Fryermuth, who called me out of the blue yesterday while I was driving home, he posted that Shannon was in Twin Cities recently and apparently went into the Mall of America and the Barnes and Nobles and signed. There's a signed copy of the Ultimate Stay-at-Home Dad book in there somewhere. So anybody that's up in the Twin Cities area needs a little hide and go seek party. You should go see if you can find it.
It's a treasure hunt.
Yeah. And then you got to post about it when you find it. So
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I will love when authors do that. They walk in and they just like, oh, I'm just gonna sign a few of these.
Yeah.
So
Since I'm here,
yeah,
surprise.
but I thought that was really cool. I and then just kind of keeping on that, I saw where Josh Mosley got to hang out
Hmm.
with a brand new member that's going to be coming to the convention. So that's always exciting to
Yeah.
see that. I think that's one of the things, it's like you get to meeting dads, and then you get them to agree to come to the convention, and like I think it's just a really just fun way to continue on with bringing people in. So but yeah, so like there's just I don't know, I like it. The Facebook group has always been good, man. There's always been some just great stuff. I like how there's a lot of crowdsourcing going on for things, as I know it seems
Hmm.
like the other big question right now is like how to build a first aid kit is a big question right now, which is a good one too, because you don't think about the fact that, having a first aid kit either in your, go bag or having it in your cars. But I mean, that is,
Maybe you don't think about it.
I never thought about it until we started traveling with the kids, honestly.
Really?
Like, yeah. And I feel like, I really feel like that was the thing with, um, I think when you get your driver's license, when you're doing that, like that's something that should be talked about, like
Yeah.
having a first aid kit in your car.
Yeah. And just the basic stuff will help. Like, especially the where I'm going is I'm going to get, and I don't know if I'm going to get an actual Milwaukee box, but they have the stackable boxes for different tool sets. And
Oh
I
yeah.
want one that I'm going to make into my med kit. And it's going to
Oh,
be the full gamut of med. It's going to be
that's
the
an
first aid kit.
indestructible one.
Yeah, and all the extra stuff. And I'm going to have a big red X or red cross, I should say red X, red cross put on the front of it so that if I'm ever in a car accident and someone needs to help me, they can look at that and go, oh, well, there's a first aid kit. And they can pull it out and it'll have splints and sutures and all the big stuff and like a cold compress or, whatever you might need to just the little stuff that you're going to need, like bug bite, you know, I don't know, treatment. What you call that? But to keep, anti-itch for your bug bites, sunburn cream or whatever, and just stuff like that. I feel like again, especially when you have kids. Now, for me, I've always been a little crazy and a little paranoid, and I've always had a first aid kit. And I've always enjoyed having it together and having all the things in it. And the times that I've been able to pull it out, and I'm not talking like just a band-aid, because that's different. Like I keep a little, I think it's called the bravery box or the hero box, and they have little metal tins that have like a dinosaur on the front, and it's for little kids, and it's got just band-aids. But I'm talking actually pulling something out and helping someone with an actual wound or something.
Yeah.
It's a lifesaver. I've got one in
Yeah.
my backpack. My kids, well, at least two of my kids have one. It's smaller, but But yeah, I think first aid is just so valuable. And they did bring up some very interesting points too about having a breakout at the convention for
Yeah.
first aid. Now I think I read it wrong. They said how to put together a first aid kit. I'm like, I mean, I don't want to spend 45 minutes just doing that. That's a 5 or 10 minute YouTube video. You get a small bag and this is what you put in it. You're done. But they were talking about actual first aid, how to perform first aid, what you should have in there and how to use it. Why have a splint? What do you do with that? You know,
Yeah.
why do you have that and what do I care? I think that was very cool. And that made
Yeah.
much more sense to me after reading it.
And there's some
And I
great
think it
first
was
aid.
Ariel that explained it.
Yeah, that would not be surprising, seeing as how he's highly involved with the Boy Scouts for many
Mm-hmm.
years. So that makes
Yep,
total
yep.
sense. But yeah, I mean, I think that just there's so many like classes that you can take for first aid and different things. It's like, so it's good to that. I think that honestly, like CPR should be high on that list of things to go through.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can do CPR in like a day, basically, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
I know that we've talked about it. I think that, or at least I know that the org, when planning the convention, has talked about it before, and it's always been a scheduling issue more than anything with just getting somebody. It's one of those things where it's like you almost need to get a hold of them like a year out
Mm-hmm.
if you want to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
because anything
Which,
other than that, you're probably not going to.
we might be doing.
Oh, there you go.
Just say it. Yeah,
There
because
you
you
go.
you have to know far in advance.
Yeah.
It's almost more difficult than the hair braiding.
I
think
would
it's
put
just
it
one
right
of
up
those
there with the
things you
difficulties.
really just, how are we going to get this? Is so easy. No, it's not. It is so difficult to make this happen. But yeah.
Now that the convention is actually getting like ahead in planning
Mhm.
for future conventions, I think that it will probably become a little bit easier.
Mhm.
That's the key, and that's the trajectory of where things are going. And honestly, like, I think that, just to kind of turn the page on the conversation, but basically, like, that's the other thing that's great about what's gone on with the convention over the years, and is making it even better, is the
Mhm.
fact that there's getting more time, like kind of overlapping planning, basically.
Mhm.
Because I think lots of conventions do that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. Doing it the year of is ridiculous. That just is not the way to do it. You need advance notice.
Yeah.
And granted, you can make changes right up until the day of the convention if something's different or a speaker can't make it. Yeah, but realistically, it should all be. And if I had my druthers, if I was king of the world, right, I would have us rotate 4 cities and just those four, and in hopefully in different parts of the country where people would be easier and more difficult. And then we have a contract. We have a hotel that knows we're going to be back in 4 years. And I have to say, they're planning out that far. They have their
Right.
calendar out that far.
Right. Yeah, they are.
And just do that rotation. And then we don't have to worry about it. And can you imagine? I'm going to use St. Louis because that was, to me, my favorite hotel. That was really cool. We'll see. San Antonio might top it. It happens every year. It's my favorite one. But to be able to go back to St. Louis every 4 years, and we already know the hotel. We already know parts of the city. We already know where to eat. We already know the places that we can ask. We already know where to do our photo. So many things that we have to decide every year now that would just be so easy. And getting into a contract, honestly, with a hotel chain like Drury. Now, they don't have enough hotels that meet our needs throughout the nation to really do the whole 4 city thing. They just don't have it. But if we could, just for them, okay, every 4 years we'll be back. I don't know exactly how it would work out in the long run, but it's so much easier to know in advance.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, though, is you do lose that. Well, I want it in my city, or I want it over here. Or we want to do it over in this direction. We want to go to Seattle as an example, which we're not going to ever go to Seattle unless someone comes up and like Procter and Gamble again, or somebody comes in and dumps a ton of money on us because it's just too expensive for a
It's
nonprofit.
way too expensive. Yeah.
Our tickets would have to be over $450.
Oh
It's
my
just,
gosh.
it would just be no chance. And actually, now with inflation and everything, the economy would probably be over 500. But the reality of it is, it's just not economical. We
Yeah.
can't afford it. We just can't. But having those 4 cities would definitely make it much easier for the organization and the planning committee. And I'm for it.
What about Denver? Denver, something that would
Like,
be
Denver's very expensive.
Denver's expensive too.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, any really big major city is going to be expensive. And like anything in the Northeast is almost always going to be out of our price range. But we're trying, and anybody, honestly, if you have suggestions, you have ideas, you have things you want to do, get on the planning committee.
Pittsburgh.
Just go volunteer for the planning committee and make it happen. Because we're not saying no to cities because we don't like them or we don't want to be there. The planning committee is setting it up where we can afford it. And we just have
Yeah.
a lot of RFPs that come back from hotels and we're like, what? We can't even afford your food and beverage minimum.
I enjoyed Milwaukee.
Milwaukee
I
was
enjoyed
great.
Milwaukee a lot.
I would love to go back to Milwaukee.
Well, Milwaukee, yeah, there
'Cause
was just so much.
It's right there. It's like 2
Yeah.
hours away.
I like places that are super walkable.
Mhm.
If you want to step out from the convention and just have some you time
Yes.
and be able to actually see something or whatever. Like that was the thing with Milwaukee that was great because I could jump on a scooter and get to
Mhm.
all kinds of great places.
Yeah.
And there was plenty to see.
I wouldn't want to ever go back there, but Phoenix as well was really cool for walking and scooter and public transportation.
I
And yeah,
melted once. I don't
it's
need to
just
melt again.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I might die. I don't know, but it would be fun. I'd be with my friends. But yeah, finding a city that is walkable is fantastic. I mean, we had this beautiful hotel down in Charlotte that wanted us to come down. Like, that's great. Like, I think it's just being finished like right now. So it
Yeah.
would have been for next year and what have you. Like, it's great. It's beautiful, but it's right off the interstate and right off basically a big 4 or 5 lane state highway. And there's nothing walkable other than like a McDonald's, and it's that industrialized look that I'm looking at the pictures on Google Maps. Like, I'm not going to walk down that street after dark. I
Yep.
I'm sorry. That is not a place that I want to offer to our membership. It's a beautiful hotel inside. And if that's all you were going to do, you were never going to leave the hotel. Beautiful, amazing, do it.
Yeah.
But like you
Well,
said, we want to get out. We want
yeah. Well,
to
that's
hang out with
even
our friends.
even when we were in Orlando, it was a walk. It was a walk to get
Yeah.
to like the area where there was anything remotely to do. Otherwise, you were taking Uber or whatever to like get somewhere else because yeah, there
Yep.
was nothing close by. And the nice part
Nothing.
was is that there were a few guys who had driven down, and so we were able to get to other places. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, that was
Yep.
that was
I
another
drove
one
down.
where it was not Disney. It was not.
No,
Uh,
it was
but
a great idea. It just wasn't
yeah.
implemented as well as it could. And or again, Orlando's incredibly expensive
Mhm.
because of Disney and everything. That's not the place where you're going to find a nonprofit putting on their annual convention
We
unless
could
we
do it in
raise our ticket
Sarasota,
prices.
Sarasota, Fort
And like
Lauderdale, maybe.
Des Moines, you know, no, but there are a lot of cities that we can go to, but like New York City, we
But we're
will
not ever getting
never
there.
ever
No.
have a convention in New York City unless again someone comes in and drops, here's $100,000. Cool, we'll do it where you want. You tell us what hotel you want it, because at that point you're paying obviously for the whole thing, and we'd still have to charge for tickets.
Mhm.
We'd still have to charge. It's currently 265 to 300, depending on where you're getting it. And I'm just going to tell y'all, I think it should be 350. Period. I won't get that. The board will fight me on that. The planning committee will fight me on that, and the membership will fight me on that. But it needs to be more expensive. It just everything around us is getting expensive, and we're having to pay more for stuff. Food and beverage minimums are going up. A lot of issues and a lot of different things, and we're not.
It's probably going to get there anyway in the next few years, to be
It's got
honest, just
to.
because of everything. It's not,
Mhm.
and it's not even so much a like, I want it to be there. It's more of a like, this is just part of life. I mean, I think just talking about money and how things change and inflation, I mean, it just over years, it's not an uncommon thing.
Right.
Like, for instance, like, I love, like, this is really off a rabbit trail, but still, I think it makes sense. But like, I like watching period piece shows, specifically The Gilded Age on HBO is like a fabulous show if you haven't seen it. But one of the things that blows my mind, that and Little House on the Prairie, because they both have like, they talk about money stuff. But have you ever, when they mention like, they talk about like, for instance, like they'll say, oh yeah, like I'll buy that for, like they'll say like $300,000 or something like that. Like that was the most recent episode. Something happened where they paid each of these guys $300,000 for something that they made. And I was like, what is that? What is that now? What is that money? Because I know that's a lot of, I mean, 300,000 in itself is a lot of money.
Yeah, at any point. Yeah.
But then if you flash back to like, late 1800s, what is that? How does that translate?
Yeah. Holy crap.
That amount of money translated to over $21 million. And like, I paused the show and I looked at Corey and I was just like, they each just got paid out over $21 million. And just, it's such a, like, it's mind blowing. I'm like, they're set for life. Like, they don't have to, like, in a world like that, like, they don't got to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, and one guy in particular, like, that is for him, like, that's life changing money. For the other guy, it's more like this just adds on to my inheritance that I was already getting kind of deal. And so like his reaction to it is totally different than the other person's reaction to it, which
Right.
is wild. But that's the thing, like people are like, "Oh man, like gas used to be so cheap." I'm like, "Yeah, like sure, 20 years ago gas definitely was tons cheaper, but you know, life things have changed, processes have changed, and when you change processes and how you do stuff, like it costs
Mhm.
more to do those kind of things. Like innovation costs money to progress
True.
forward. And so like
And
who does that pass on to? Well, it ain't staying with them. Like it's getting passed on to the consumer. So
yeah,
yeah, so I've
corporate
gotten to the
greed.
well, there's that. Yeah.
That just, sorry, man.
That's
That's what it
capital.
is.
That's capitalism. That's how that works. But that's the thing though, like not getting upset with it because it's like you're not going to change that at all. Like that's how the world works.
Mhm.
But understanding it and knowing how to function through it is the important part to it.
Yeah. And just think about people. I mean, we're coming up on our 30th convention. So you think about people that came to our 10th convention.
Right?
They're not going to balk at the fact that the ticket is more expensive. They may remember that the ticket was much cheaper earlier. But yeah, we just have expenses. And it's, again, I mean, everything we do, our entire budget is published. You know, we have
Yeah.
it, and, you know, it's, you can see where we spent every single dollar. And honestly, I am more concerned that we're going to end up losing money.
Yeah.
That's where my concern, because as a board member, you are financially responsible for the money your organization spends. If we went out and spent $10,000 that we don't have, the board members would have to pay that back. And
Yep.
I'm like, okay, look, I'm not willing to put my life on, because we're finally, you know, we're doing really well and we've worked very hard to get here. I mean, I'm in my 50s, Marnie's in her late 40s. We've worked very hard throughout our life to get to where we're at, and we're doing very well because of it, and very good budget decisions. So I need the organization to make a good budget decision and say, well, our tickets are actually going up to 325. And I'll be like, love you, man.
Yep. I
Because
mean, they've gone up
we're
since
gonna lose money.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, like even if you think back to the first convention, I mean, Orlando
Hmm.
was cheaper than it is now. And
Hmm.
I imagine that, you know, you said you were in North Carolina when you went to the first one. So
Yep. Went to Raleigh
yeah.
11 years ago.
Yep. I mean, things change and people just have to be in the mindset that's how things work. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, you know, it's one of those deals too where it's like, of course, like sometimes moving the pendulum or moving the, you know, the wall, so to speak, on where things sit at, it'll get there.
Yeah. It's just a big change. And I will say that I think everyone on the board understands.
Yeah.
I talk about them fighting me for it. I haven't been fighting for it. We're not fighting about that. We've mentioned it a couple of times. So I want to be clear about that.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
not like we're having an argument. I just hands down feel, yeah, it needs to be more expensive. And they're right to think, no, we don't want to do that. We want to make it available for everybody that we can. And we do. And that's why we've kept it as low as possible. And that's why we'll continue to do that.
Yep.
And even if I was the only person to vote yes on a change and everybody else voted no, I'd be fine with it because it's what's best for our membership, you know?
Yeah.
So we can
Yeah.
offer you the convention. So anyway,
Yeah.
on
I
that
don't have
note,
anything else. Yeah. No, I think that's a very good point and a great thing to stop on. So, and also too, just to remember, Home Dad Con tickets are still available. I think only for like another week or two, if I'm not mistaken. So
I don't know. I can't figure the date when this is going to come out, but when this comes out, you'll be really close, if not on. I think it's August 1st.
is it August 1st? Okay.
So we got maybe a couple days after this airs.
Yeah.
I believe it's the 1st or the 6th. There's so many dates, but it's coming
Yep.
up soon. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you
It's
haven't
next
gotten
week.
your ticket, jump on
Or-
your ticket.
Yeah. Or when they hear this, they're only going to have a few days actually
Mhm.
based upon when I get this put out. So, but yeah, there you go. Well, hey, it's always fun talking to you, Danny. I was looking forward to this conversation.
About who knows what, but it's always good.
It's always good. Rabbit, everything else.
Yeah.
But All right. Well, hey, we'll talk to y'all next week. So y'all have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.